Assalamu alaikum friends. Today we learn about computer hardware. First of all, introduction. Computer hardware refers to the physical components that make a computer system. There are many different kinds of hardware that can be installed inside and connected to the outside of a computer. This includes the computer case, also called cabinet, monitor, keyboard and mouse, printer, UPS, etc. Also includes all the parts inside the computer case, such as the hard disk, drive, motherboard, video card, and many others. Hardware is directed by the software to execute any command or instruction. A combination of hardware and software forms a usable computing system. Next, processor. CPU. A central processing unit is the electronics circuit within a computer that carries out the instruction of a computer. Instruction of a computer programs by performing the basic arithmetic, logical, control and input output operations specified by instructions. In computing, a processor or processing unit is an electronic circuit which perform operations on some external data source, usually memory or some other data stream. The term is frequently used to refer to central processor, central processing unit. CPU is stand for central processing unit. In a system, but typical computer system, especially SOCs combine a number of specialized processors. One of the most exciting components in the computer is the CPU. कि जो CPU है वो कंप्यूटर के अंदर एक बहुत ही मखसूस और ख़ास कंपोनेंट है. सेंट्रल प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट विच इज़ इसेंशली द ब्रेन ऑफ द कंप्यूटर. इसको बाज़ औक़ात कंप्यूटर का दिमाग भी कहा जाता है. It interprets and executes instructions and data contained in software programs as well as the command of its user. जितना भी जो कंप्यूटर के अंदर डेटा होता है उसको कमांड दी जाती है. जो तमाम प्रोसेसिंग है वो CPU के अंदर से होकर प्रोसेस होती है. The more generic term processor is often used to refer to CPU as well. The power and performance of the CPU are the greatest determinants of computer overall performance. The CPU battlefield is dominated by two companies, Intel and AMD, and their processors are forever pushing the performance of each other. Next, driver. CD-ROM, hard drive, etc. A disk driver is a randomly addressable and rewritable storage device. The term can be broadly interpreted to include optical drives and airline times. Floppy drives, however, in popular use, it has come to relate mainly to hard disk drives. HDDs disk drives can either be housed internally within a computer or housed in a separate box that is external to the computer. They are found on PCs, servers, laptops, and storage arrays. For example, they work by rotating very rapidly around a head or heads, which read and writes data. They differ from solid-state drives (SSDs), which have no moving parts and offer greater performance but also cost more and generally offer less capacity. The two principal technologies at work in disk drives are advanced technology attachment drive electronics and small computer system interface. ATA drives are generally less expensive and more common, while the more expensive are used for higher performance applications. The two main types of HDDs used in storage today are SATA and AS. SATA is short for serial ATA. Basically, the architecture used in ATA disk hit the limit of its data transfer capabilities and was severely bottlenecking system performs different serial architectures used in SATA removed that restriction so that disk drive bandwidth could be steadily improved. These days SATA disk drives are widely deployed to store large quantities of data or bulk storage. SAS stand for serial attached. Like SATA, SAS provides a leap in performance over SI, while SAS disks are able to reach speed of up to 15,000 rpm, about twice the speed of many SATA disks. They are more expensive, hence SATA tends to be used for largest volume of data, while a SAS is often reserved for frequently accessed data. CPU fan heat management should always be a top concern of any serious PC users. Whether you bought a complete system or you are building your own computer tower, you will need to take measures to ensure that your system stays as cool as possible. Not only can heat degrade performance, but excessive heat can even damage internal components. Fortunately, there are several options for cooling down your PC. Everything inside your computer generates heat. The more stress you place on your computer, the harder it has to work. This in turn output more heat. That heat needs to be vacated from your system so that components can cool off. That means you need to install computer case, fans and components heat sinks. Next, modem. Modem. A modulator, demodulators, is a hardware device that allows a computer to send and receive data over telephone line or cable or satellite connections. In the case of transmission over an analog telephone line, which was once the most popular way to access the internet, The modem converts data between analog and digital formats in real time for two-way network communication. In the case of high-speed digital modems popular today, the signal is much simpler and does not require the analog to digital conversion. Digital conversion. Today, a modem is most often used to describe a broadband modem. However, can also be used to describe what was initially considered a modem described below, and is also used to connected to the internet. Dial-up modems were commonly used by computers to connect to the internet through the early 2000s until broadband internet started to be more widely available. As broadband internet became more popular and available, dial-up modems were used by less computer users. Today computers no longer come with dial-up modem, requiring user who need one to purchase and install it. Video card. Video card is another specific components of computer to perform the games and other contents. A video card connected to the motherboard of computer system and generate output images to display. Video cards also referred to as graphics cards. Video cards includes a processing unit, memory or cooling mechanics and connections to our display device. The most common connection system between the video card and the computer display are video graphics array VGA. It is commonly called VGA cable. Video graphics array, that was stand for video graphics array. Digital visual interface DVI. Video in video output. Vivo for SVD is composite video and components video. High definition multimedia interface. DisplayPort. Other types of connection systems. RAM, random access memory. RAM is an acronym for random access memory, a type of computer memory that can be accessed randomly. That is, an byte of memory can be accessed without touching the preceding bytes. RAM is found in servers, PCs, tablets, smartphones, and other devices such as printer. There are two main types of RAM: DRAM, DRAM, Dynamic Random Access Memory; SRAM, SRAM, Static Random Access Memory; DRAM, Dynamic Random Access Memory. The term dynamic indicate that memory must be constantly refreshed or it will lose its contents. DRAM is typically used for the main memory in computing device. If a PC or smartphone is advertised as having 4 GB RAM or 60 GB RAM, those numbers refer to the DRAM or main memory in the device. More specifically, most of the DRAM used in modern system is synchronous DRAM or SDRAM. Manufacturers also sometimes use the acronym DDR or DDR2, DDR3, DDR4. The DDR stands for double data rate. To describe the type of SDRAM, used by PC or servers. DDR stands for double data rate, and it refers to how much data is to, to the memory can transfer in one clock cycle. SRAM, static random access memory. While DRAM is typically used for main memory, today SRAM is more often used for system cache. SRAM is said to be static because it does not need to be refreshed, unlike dynamic RAM, which needs to be refreshed thousands of times per second. As a result, SRAM is faster than DRAM. However, both types of RAM are volatile, meaning that they lose their contents when the power is turned off. Next, motherboard. A motherboard, sometimes alternatively known as the main board, system board, base board, planner board, or logic board, or colloquially MOBO, is the main printed circuit board PCB. PCB stand for printed circuit board, founded in generally purpose microcomputer and other expandable system. A motherboard is one of the most essential parts of a computer system. It holds together many of the crucial components of a computer, including the central processing unit, memory, and connectors for input and output devices. The base of a motherboard consists of a very firm sheet of non-conductive material, typically some sort of rigid plastics. Thin layers of copper, aluminum foil, referred to as traces, are printed onto this sheet. These traces are very narrow and form the circuits between the various components. In addition to circuits, a motherboard contains a number of sockets and slots to connect the other components. Here are some of the typical parts. A CPU sockets. The actual CPU is directed soldered onto the socket. Since high-speed CPU generate a lot of heat, there are heat sinks and mounting points of fans right next to the CPU sockets. A power connector to distribute power to the CPU and other components. Slots for the system's main memory, typically in the form of DRAM chips. A chip form an interface between the CPU, the main memory, and other components of on many types of motherboards. This is referred to as the north bridge. This chip also contains a large heatsink. A second chip controls the input and output I/O functions. It is not connected directly to the CPU but to the north bridge. This controller is referred as the south bridge. The north bridge and south bridge combined are referred as the chipist. Several connectors which provide the physical interface between input and output devices and the motherboard. The south bridge handles these connections. Slots for one more hard drives to store files. The most common types of connections are integrated drive electronics (IDE). IDE stand for integrated drive electronics, and serial advanced technologies attachment. SATA is stand for serial advanced technology attachment. A read-only memory. ROM chip which contains the firmware or startup instruction for the computer system. This is also called the BIOS. The BIOS is stand for basic input output. A slot of video graphics card. There are number of different types of slots including the accelerated graphic port AGP. AGP stand for accelerated graphic port. Additional slots to connect hardware in the form of peripheral components interconnect PCI slots. A network card NIC is stand for network interface card. Or network card is an electronics device that connect a computer to be computer network, usually LAN. LAN means LAN stand for large area network. It is considered a piece of computer hardware today. Most computers have network cards. Most new computers have either Ethernet capabilities integrated into the motherboard chipset or use an inexpensive dedicated Ethernet chip connected through the PCI or PCI Express bus. A separate NIC is generally no longer needed if the card or controller is not integrated into the motherboard. It may be an integrated components in a router, printer interface or USB devices. Next, sound cards. A sound card, also known as an audio card, is an internal expansion card that provides input and output of audio signals to the and from or computer under control of computer programs. The term sound card is also applied to external audio interfaces used for professional audio application. Typical uses of sound cards includes providing the audio components for multimedia applications such as music composition, editing, video or audio presentation, education and entertainment, games and video projection. Uses of all Uses of a computer sound card, games, audio CDs and listening to music, watch movies, audio conferencing, creating and playing MIDI, education software, many others. Monitor. A monitor is an electronics visual computer display that includes a screen, circuitry, and case in which that circuitry is enclosed. Older computer monitor made use of cathode ray tubes which made them large, heavy and inefficient. Nowadays, flat screen LCD monitors are used in devices like laptops, PDAs and desktop computers because they are lighter and more energy efficient. A monitor is also known as screen or visual display unit. The quality of monitor's performance is assessed using a few key factors. Aspect ratio, this is the relation of the vertical length to the horizontal length of the monitor, e.g. 16 by 9 or 4 by 5. Dot pitch. This is the distance between each pixel in every square inch that displayed. The shorter the distance, the sharper and clearer the images are. Display resolution, also known as dots per inch. Keyboard. The keyboard is the piece of computer hardware used to input text, character and other commands into computer or similar devices. Even modern computers' keyboards were modeled after and are still very similar to classic typewriter. A microphone is an device that computes audio by converting sound waves into an electrical signal. These signals can be amplified as an analog signals. This signal can be amplified as analog signal, may be converted to digital signal which can be processed by a computer or other digital audio devices. A mouse is a device that controls the movement of the cursor or pointer on display screen. A mouse is a small object you can roll along a hard, flat surface. Its name is derived from its shape, which look a bit like a mouse. It is connecting wire that one can be imagined to be the mouse's tail, and the fact that one must make it securely along surface. As you move the mouse, the pointer, the display screen moves in the same direction. Invented by Douglas Engelbart of Stanford Research Center in 1963 and pioneered by Xerox in the 1970s. The mouse is one of the great breakthroughs in computer ergonomics because it frees the user a large extent from using the keyboard. A printer is any device that prints text or illustration on paper. There are many different types of printers. In terms of the technology utilized, printers fall into the following categories. Desi wheel. This is a kind of printer. And second, dot matrix. This is also a printer type. Inkjet and laser. Laser is mostly used in nowadays LCD and LED. Thermal printer. Projector. A projector is an output device that can take images generated by a computer or Blu-ray players and reproduce them onto a screen wall or other surface. Typically, the surface projected onto the large flat and lightly colored. A scanner is an electronic device which can capture images from physical items and convert them into digital formats, which in turn can be stored in a computer and viewed or modified using software applications. Most scanners are flat bed devices, which means they have a flat scanning surface. This is ideal for photographic magazines. Speakers are popular output devices used with computer system. They receive audio input from the computer sound card and reduce audio output in the form of sound waves. Most computer speakers are active speakers. USB drives. A thumb drive, also called USB drive or flash drive, is a small solid-state drive that connects to a device through a USB port. Because USB technology has become such a standard protocol, user can transfer files and forms most personal computers easily with these small portable devices. What is the difference between a USB flash drive and flash drive? A USB flash drive, sometimes called a keychain drive, also connects to the USB port on your computer. Unlike USB hard drive, a flash drive is a solid-state device, meaning it has no moving parts. The data is stored electronically using millions of small gates that have a value of 1 or 0. The USB flash drive is most often used to store and transfer files between computers. For example, you could write a report on school computer, copy the file to USB flash drive, and then connect to it to your home computer to continue working on that same file. USB flash drive are also great and easy way to backup your important files. So for example, you could copy all of your pictures, documents, music, other files to flash drive and store that flash drive somewhere safe and something were to happen to your computer. ओके फ्रेंड्स, आज के लेक्चर में आपको इतना बताया गया है कंप्यूटर्स के जो तमाम मेन पार्ट्स हैं। इंट्रोडक्शन बताया आपको, प्रोसेसर के बारे में बताया, ड्राइव क्या होती है, कंप्यूटर के अंदर जो फ़ैन होता है उसका क्या काम होता है, मॉडेम का क्या काम होता है, वीडियो कार्ड का क्या काम होता है, रैम क्या काम करती है, रोम क्या होती है, एसडी रोम क्या होती है, मदरबोर्ड क्या होता है, उसका क्या काम होता है, नेटवर्क कार्ड क्या है, साउंड कार्ड क्या है, मॉनिटर क्या है, गेम पैड, कीबोर्ड, माइक्रोफोन, माउस, प्रिंटर, प्रोजेक्टर, स्कैनर, ये तमाम चीज़ें आज आपको इस लेक्चर में बताई गई हैं।